Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, so apparently we're live again. What? Twice in 1 week. Who knew? So I will set myself a timer again. I'm going to set a timer for an hour, and we're going to try and do this shiznit for another hour. We'll see how we go. I think that's kind of a reasonable thing to try and do. Is that charging? It is. Fantastic. Good news. Okay, so first thing, hello. Thanks for joining me. I have some accountability stuff to go over from last stream. So I said that I would, one of the wonderful chatters had told me that our website was down, which is usually how I find out. And I fixed that. Turned out I simply, hadn't paid the fucking bill like an idiot. So I did that. That was really good, especially after the conversation that we had about. It looks like I'm peaking a little bit. The conversation that we had about user pays and what it means to be online and who should pay for that and yada yada yada. So that was good. Did that. Feel good about that. Otherwise, accountability for the stream. I want to improve the stream every single time we stream, and I want to detail what it is that I fixed or improved from last time. So first off, starting with the fail, I tried to use one of the better cameras for the top-down camera so that we could get more focus here, and it didn't work. I've struggled and struggled and struggled. I have these great little Sony Handycams. I have and they have these capture cards, and as best I can figure, there's some kind of hardware disagreement between the capture card and the Ryzen chip that I have, and it's just never worked properly. It's just always taken a lot of massaging and finagling to try and get right. So I'm back to the regular camera. In successes, I did update the streamer bot with one of the people from last time, one of the chatters from last stream, who pointed out that their walk-on shout-out didn't work. So I've added one for them, and hopefully that makes a big difference to them at least. And that's really all I can do. Otherwise, what other accountability things do I have to go over? I think that's it. I would have liked to get the green screen working today, but I didn't. So there you go. We're going to be sorting some magic cards again. Last time I sorted roughly a fat pack box worth, which I'm calling 1,000. It's probably more, but I'm calling it 1,000 because that's a nice round easy number, and humans love round numbers. And I sorted it completely alphabetical. I realized though that given that I've got, I don't know, 20 or 30,000 cards to sort, one of the fiddliest aspect of sorting cards, for me at least, is a process that we called integration. So once we have a stack of cards, when we got a new collection in, or we had a pile of cards to sort, we would sort them. We'd do what's called first lettering. Pretty self-explanatory. Put all the A's with the A's, all the B's with the B's, all the C's with the C's. That made them somewhat searchable, but a little tricky to find things. But it was like sorting cards is a grind, and so we tried to break it down into manageable parcels. Could we say, can you first letter this box? It got first lettered, yay. Then it got fully alphabetized, which is great, and then it got integrated into the large collection, the main collection of cards. And that was, I guess, it was always the job that no one really wanted to do. It's the fiddliest job. It requires the highest degree of accuracy. And what I thought was, if I completely alpha sort 1,000 cards and then do it again, then do it again, then do it again, I've got to integrate each of those into each other, and then integrate all of that into the main boxes, which is just a pain. So what if instead of that, I first let it a vast bulk of what I've got to do, and then once I have first lettered nearly everything, I can alpha sort all the A's, and it's a lot, I don't know, it's probably the same amount of work, but it feels like less work. So That's what we're going to do. We're going to try, and we're going to simply first letter a bunch of stuff today, and we'll go from there. Otherwise, what is going on? I am aware that this is semi-alphabetized. I am aware that it's the end of the month, so I will need to do a Portavoz Principal Vanafa. I will need to do a newsletter, which I'm looking forward to. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to talk about this month. I think what I'm probably going to... There hasn't been a lot that I've been kind of deeply considering this month. Why is... Okay, here we go. That's why. So what I thought I would do is perhaps do a newsletter on filling our bags, filling our buckets. We talked last month about being in the burnt out house and what to do next, and it's really tough to kind of think about what to do next. So I figured I'd give that some thought and some consideration, especially given after the stream that we did on Wednesday. I felt great. I felt really good. I felt invigorated. I felt like I had taken some steps towards filling up my bucket, and that felt really good. I want to kind of go into a bit more than just it was good. So what did that mean? It was good. It means that I set myself an hour because I felt it was going to be a grind and was going to be difficult, and I ended up doing an hour 40 or something like that. So it's substantially more than an hour. At the end of it, I didn't feel raspy. I didn't feel shattered. And in fact, I went on to spend the next 2 or 3 hours tidying the kitchen and living area, and felt really good about that. And after the kids got home and they had dinner and what have you, had some big chats to Kato and got a good night's sleep, and I was pretty shattered on yesterday. On the Thursday, I was pretty shattered, but the shattered of having done a full day of doing things, rather than the shattered of life's too hard, I can't do this, yada yada. So one of the things I have been kind of I hate using the word hate. One of the things I have kind of been struggling with is this idea of what do I do? What do I do next? Like, all my life I've been told you can do anything you want, and I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't exactly narrow things down very much. Anyone who's read any of Mark Rosewater's articles will know about design restrictions, and how design restrictions can be fantastic for helping us to create. And I think in a lot of ways that applies too when we tell kids, the world is your oyster, do whatever you want. Like, can I get a little bit more guidance than that? Can you maybe restrict it to 5 things? So I've ended up flitting about most of my life, and I don't have any degrees. I didn't finish high school. So I don't have any kind of, what would you call it? Like resume-able documents and skills to put out there. So, I find myself here in my basement by myself, sorting magic cards. I guess, like, I like a lot of things. I like stop motion animation. I wrote a little list to myself. What does James like the sound of? I like stop motion animation. I like animation in general. The 3D animations that I've been making in Blender have been really fun, and I've gotten some really good feedback from people on those, which has been really nice. That's made me feel good. I like computers. I like using computers. I like making them tick. I like, what do you call it? Programming, right? my very first computer was a BBC Acorn, and I remember getting Apple IIe's in our grade 4 classroom, and obviously just being blown away by those. Just amazing. The local community centre might have been an Apple as well. Certainly a green screen, and we played some kind of vampire themed video game on it. Text input, cheesy graphics. But yeah, the BBC Acorn was fantastic. And I used to do some basic programming, literally basic programming. And, not a lot of write my own stuff, but certainly a lot of type in games from magazines and try and figure out how they worked and edit them and adjust them for my own liking. Bug finding, bug testing, quality, whatever you call that. So that was cool. So, I like that stuff. Hijkgh. Hijk. Hypergenesis. But so what, right? So what? The idea that I have all these interests doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to lead anywhere. So I've been doing some reading about passion stacking and multi-potentialites. And they're just big fancy words for people that like doing a lot of things and can't really choose a direction. And I get that. I'm absolutely spoiled and super lucky to be able to even consider that I've got a bunch of different PQR interests that I might. We got more fucking shambling events. I swear I just sorted all of these. I get that. I'm lucky to be able to even consider having more than one hobby and consider turning those hobbies into some kind of career is probably not a good word given that I'm in my mid 40s. I don't know how much career time I've got left, but I would like to be doing something that enthuses me and interests me. I think everyone deserves that. So how does that work? Who knows, mate? Who fucking knows? I don't have any answers, but I hope that... So when we did the stream on Wednesday, I talked a lot about Wizards of the Coast and where I kind of sat with them and how I ended up with where I was with that. And that was really super useful for me to kind of put into words some of the feelings and things that I had. And I hadn't realized, I guess, where I'd ended up. I hadn't realized that was my kind of takeaways from that relationship. OP. And so I think that felt really healthy. That felt really good to be able to do that. And I guess what I'm hoping is that streaming for me will be an opportunity to kind of tease out a few more of those ideas and conclusions, I guess is a good word. Endings, for want of a better word. In the lead up to streaming on Wednesday, I have done 3 or 4 kind of video log. I guess it's kind of like a vlog, but like a video journal essentially. It's not for anyone else, it's for me. It's simply me talking into a camera and trying to tease out a few ideas. And I've posted a few times. I've got a TikTok account that I've made a few TikToks on. Just trying to find my voice, I guess. And I hesitate to say find my voice because I'm incredibly aware that I am a melanin deficient mid-40s male presenting human, and that the stories of that particular group of people, white middle-aged males, saturated. The industry, the world, the universe is saturated in those stories. We don't need more stories that come from that kind of place. Well, James, why are you doing what you're doing? Well, I'm doing it for me, right? I'm not doing it for anyone else. And what I have realized, and I've had several people tell me, and it's taken me a while to realize what it meant, but it's up to the people who listen to the stories, who read the stories, to decide whether a story is worthwhile. I'm telling my story for me, and if you want to listen to my story, that's up to you. No one's got a gun to your head. There's so many channels out there. I would like to, though, in that process, uplift voices that aren't as privileged as mine. And I think that my For You page is on Twitter is a pretty good example of what that looks like. Is there something wrong with this card? I mean, apart from it being shit. So, who knows? Short version, who knows? I think I mentioned it in the last, excuse me. I think I mentioned in the last stream that I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, but not doing it feels worse. So the other idea that I've really been trying to latch onto and internalize for myself is that the only way to make good art is to make an overwhelming amount of shit art. Like, people don't just hit home runs. They swing thousands of times. And so in a lot of ways, I guess what I'm, kind of getting towards here is that this is an opportunity for me to talk my truth in I was going to say unbiased, but obviously, I've got loads of bias, but in a safe and welcoming environment that I've created. Like, you are all invited in to my space, and it's lovely to have you here. But it's still my space. And that's like something that I've realized that I haven't had a lot of in my life. And where was I going with that? So the corollary to that is, while it's my space and my opportunity to talk, it's your opportunity to choose to listen if you want to. And I think I lost the thread of that. Anyway, it'll come back. So I think I started becoming aware that my back was hurting. Definitely need a new chair. So look at me, I'm the DCI, seriously? That can go in another pile. Okay. Bit of a segue. I was considering that, given it was Friday, that I might do the crossword today. And what I was concerned about was sitting here for 2 hours, frustrated, trying to do a really difficult crossword puzzle by myself. And that a better use of my time would simply be sorting these cards. Like, I need to get into the habit of sorting. I need to be making progress on this so that... do I want to sort the conspiracy stuff separately? Let's just not for the moment. It's a magic card. It's got a magic back. It starts with H. Let's just do that. If I sit here and sort cards, at least I end up with something at the end. I'm going to put that in the awkward pile. Like, these Japanese cards might be desirable. And I guess if I know what card they are, then I can sort them together. But my knowledge is not strong enough anymore to know exactly what any of this stuff is. Having my mic here is getting more and more annoying too. So I guess I add that to my list. Things that would make this process easier and more comfortable for me. So comfort, I guess, was something else that I've been thinking about. Like, comfort and security, and not having a space of my own. Um, I don't know where I kind of want to go with that. That we, safe housing is so high on everybody's list of needs, understandably, right? It's one of the, on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, safety of housing is right up there. And while I have a roof over my head, for which I'm extremely grateful, this is not my home. It's simply a place where my stuff is, and I spend all my time. Like there's some irony, I guess, in not being able to leave the house, and not wanting to be here either. It's kind of tough, but anyway. So I guess let's loop all the way back to filling our cups. So we find something that, hey, Mr. Quinto, thanks for joining us. Filling our cups, yeah. So we find something that we enjoy, that we can do with a modicum of safety and a modicum of challenge. I mean, so like good play isn't going to always be completely safe. Good play is going to be challenging, and it's going to stretch us and stretch our boundaries and what have you. So also, play also helps us to learn and to grow. Growth isn't comfortable. Growth shouldn't be comfortable. Growth often is painful, in fact. And I think there's a lot of issues in the world that are caused by favoring comfort over discomfort. And I mean, naturally, as a living being, we don't want to be uncomfortable. We don't want to be in pain. And so, of course, we rear back from that. We've got thousands of years of evolution that cause us to not want to be hurt, and to avoid actions and activities that would hurt us. However, what that means is that we don't end up having the difficult conversations. We don't end up having doing the difficult internal work that is required to recognize where we are in the world and how we got there, and who paid a greater price than we did, or continues to pay a price. So one of the things I keep coming back to is I would like to be doing something about that. I recognize that I have an immense amount of privilege, and how can I leverage that or utilize that to help people? When we had Lab, Lab was a great place for people to come and be safe and hang out with like-minded people. And I felt like we were really making a difference there. It was wonderful. And so when I've looked at playing poker and getting better at poker, it's really not even a zero sum. It's like a negative sum game for the world. The casino makes money. I would hopefully make some money, but no one is better off for that effort being put in. Does that make sense? And ditto with like trading stocks or trading crypto. Ultimately, no one is really benefiting in broad terms from that. So trying to build a space like Lab, again, where people can come and be, and it ties into that thing we talked about briefly the other day about belonging versus fitting in. Like fitting in is something that we do to ourselves. We change aspects of who we are in order to try and appeal to another group and be seen as either appealing or desirable, or simply non-confrontational or what have you, some kind of sacrifice on our part in order to be included. Like being included is so important, and oftentimes people find themselves making massive sacrifices in order to be included. And you contrast that with the idea of belonging. When a person belongs, they don't need to change themselves. They don't need to edit themselves or put on a uniform or an accent or a affectation of any kind. They simply belong. They are where they're supposed to be. And I guess what I found when I finished the stream on Wednesday was that it felt really natural. It felt really good to stream, to be here, and talking about things and sharing my 2 cents and generally, I don't know, existing, for want of a better term. And I guess I wanted to say like leaving my mark, but it's not about leaving a mark either. It's not about creating a legacy or anything like that. It's more about the stream that I did on Wednesday helped me immensely. Afterwards I felt invigorated. I felt like I'd worked through some interesting things, and I hoped that perhaps some of the things that I said might have resonated with people or what have you. We certainly had a couple of good conversations. I love this card so much. I guess that's been neat too. Having to sort cards again, not having to, choosing to sort cards again, getting back into this mode has reminded me about some of the really, really good things that Magic provided me and my family and my friends and colleagues and what have you. You know, it is a really good game beyond all the politics and nonsense that happens around it. There's not many games that can say that they are, what's the phrase? Turing complete. So here we are. You know, I'm going to sort cards 2 or 3 times a week. I'm going to slowly get closer to being able to list them in some fashion so that they can hopefully get a step closer to doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is being sleeved up and shuffled and slung across a table at the enemy. Because who doesn't want to have Light of the Legion just making things bigger and being great and smashing face? So by next time we stream, and it's even nice to think about that this is a process to manage now rather than a problem to solve, that I will work on the camera thing. I think I have a workaround which is pretty standard James style, overcomplicated, over engineered, and will work once or twice before it requires, you know, constant maintenance. So that's pretty much how I roll. Then we might look at being able to play some games maybe. Like this, I've got a big problem with feeling like I deserve, feeling like I've earned, and like the freedom or have I done enough housework to play video games, stuff like that. And it ends up causing me quite a substantial amount. It's kind of pretty off center. That surprised me. And it's dumb, and it's stuff that's happening inside me. It's stuff that's coming from me. No one's telling me this stuff. I mean, I guess once upon a time someone must have told me that. Otherwise, where did I get the idea from? Because we children of the world don't come into this world knowing things like we don't deserve to sit on the nice couch. That's crazy. So part of me kind of wants to know where that came from, but a bigger part of me doesn't care where it comes from. Simply wants to reassure my inner self that it's a lie and that I don't need to worry about it. One of... Oh shit, what is this card called? Boo. I'm guessing the creature is the front. It feels like from the cardboard like the creature is the front. I don't know the answer. Are they tangled? They're all tangled, right? So they won't be far away from each other, I guess, if they end up needing to be found. What was I saying? Children being told, learning. No, it's gone again. Bother. Botheration. Bother. Oh well. Say la vie. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, it's amore. So yeah, I guess I needed to remember that magic is, and magic cards especially, are morally neutral. They don't owe me anything and I don't owe them anything. And so I can simply sort cards, which I find to be quite zen and relaxing, without needing to ascribe it to any kind of greater power or me capitulating to people who I perceive to have caused me injury in the past. So yeah, you can't really see it, but I keep having to reach around my microphone, and it is getting very old. So I have been meaning to build an arm. I want to build a tiny armchair as well. I don't know how hard it is to do upholstery, but I figure it can't be that hard, right? Is that just standard white person audacity, male audacity, to assume that I can, if I wanted to, upholster a chair? Or is it simply the fact that YouTube exists and we can learn anything that we want to quickly and easily? Sol Ring, what a beast of a card. Quickly and easily by simply doing some Googling and paying attention. Man, attention's another funny thing, right? The attention economy. Dealing with EHGH. Dealing with... If I lean back, you can't see me. I'm still here, I promise. Maybe that's why my back was hurting. I've got the hunch over nonsense going on. So I tell you, first lettering, you get through a lot more cards a lot more quickly. Maybe that's why it was the desirable task, because you very quickly got to see that you had made a difference. And okay, so they're A's. Like, that was super fast. We did maybe 2,500 cards. 2,000. We'll call it 2,000 because if this is a 5,000 count box, that's one row. So that's a 5,000 count. That's C, D, E, F, and then G's we'll have to go through again because I think I put G's, H's, and I's kind of halfway together and halfway not together. C, D, E, C, D's nuts. E girls or I ladies. Yeah. Emotional damn. Otherwise good, I think. G, H. Yeah, okay, I did put some H's with these G's. That's okay. Happy little trees. I was talking about multi-potentialism, multi-potentialites. People for whom they are drawn in lots of different directions. They have loads of different skills, none of which they have ever mastered or taken to any great degree of excellency. A woman I was watching a story by last night described how often she got second place in things. So, like, she would do something, she'd get reasonably okay at it. There'd be a competition or something, so she'd amp up her interest, and then she'd, come second or third, because the people who really cared, who really put in the work, were the ones who deservedly were the winners. And so she would immediately lose interest and go and do something else. I, J, K. And I get that. Like, I feel that. I have started. I often say I've had more jobs. I've quit more jobs than I've had. And that's only because I've quit the same job several. There have been several jobs which I've had to quit several times, and then been rehired at the same job. Just a bit silly, but life is silly. Look at it. If you can't laugh at it, then what's going on? J, K, 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 K. All right, great. J, K, I, H. All right, well, that already feels good to have first lettered all of that. And I think that first lettering them first, before I try and fully alphabetize them, is the right move. It'll certainly make them easier to find. The next, I guess, major hurdle, once I've sorted them, is trying to figure out how to catalog them easily and effectively in a fashion that will allow them to be searchable and postable, so that in turn anyone who does want them can find them. Okay. And so OP is going to be mixed together as well. Shouldn't take long to figure out. Lovely weather. There really aren't that many O cards in magical cardboards. The land of the magical cardboard. The land of the... Oh, what's that? That's an old memory coming back. The land of the red, white and blue. In the land of the Bumbley Boo, where the people are white, red and blue. I think it's got the form. I just put the P's before the O's. It's got the form of a limerick, right? Niv Mizzet, Oath of Kaya, Planar Cleansing. In the land of the Bumbley Boo, where the people are red, white and blue, they never wear clothes or something blow their noses, something like that. They never wear clothes. It feels like an E. Cummings. Who did the poem? The spring has sprung, the grass has riz. I wonder where the birdies is. Because there was E. Cummings. It's not E. Cummings, I'm pretty sure. There's another guy who's got a name like Roald Dahl. Obviously not Roald Dahl either. And he did a bunch of nonsense poetry, kids poetry. In the land of the Bumbley Boo, where the people are red, white and blue. Don't know. I'm sure that'll want to come to me at some point when it's not relevant. I mean, it's not relevant right now. Let's be honest. So great, gun boss. So what's next? What's next? So I went and looked at UVWX. I went and looked at a property, and for Lab to hopefully to potentially rent, and that was last Friday. I want to say Thursday. Thursday. It must have been Thursday because the kids were both there. And immediately I've been too scared to check my email. Dealing with real estate agents is the blurst at the best of times. When they've got something that you want, it's even worse. I guess the truth is, though, I don't want it. Like it wasn't right for us. UVWXYZ. The property wasn't right for us. So it doesn't matter that we're not going to take it. But then having said that, it means like, I don't know, it kind of feels like breaking up with someone, right? Saying to them, I'm not interested in what you've got to offer, even though it's simply a real estate agent saying the property is this much money. If you have that much money, you can take it for a period of time. And like, it's a really low impact relationship, right? And I'm not sure what it is inside me that affixes all of this value, or ascribes such a kind of personal danger to those interactions. Is it danger? I guess, like, yeah, it's a lack of safety. It's like, it feels like a threat. Like there's such a massive power imbalance between the guy with the suit and the clipboard who can let you in to show you a space, and little old me, the barefoot, the human who doesn't have any property, doesn't have any collateral, doesn't have any capital, doesn't have any levers, doesn't have any pieces in the game effectively. How do you get into those games without having any of the pieces? How do you play like with such a massive fucking disadvantage? So I just felt the need to actually fiddle with something while we were here. I've sorted some cards. That went a lot faster than I expected. So I figured I would pull some things out to play with and have a look at before I sign off again for the day. Power imbalance, right? There's just so much in our lives is set up in such a fashion that... What's your hat, little bee man? I wonder where you are. I don't know. Feel powerless. I guess one thing I was pleased about with the stream on Wednesday was that I didn't cry. For whatever reason, one of my internal mini hurdles that I had to get over was this idea that I was going to get on stream and I was just going to cry for 20 minutes. Check these little guys out. They're so cute. They're little ceramic treasure beckoning cats. And even that is nonsensical, right? Like, I'm not unwell to the point of crying for hours, right? I'm not unwell to the point where that is something that I am doing. And even though I've been feeling a lot of heightened emotions recently, I am um, letting them flow through me. I'm trying to feel them rather than. I ran across this idea that I quite liked about people who understand their feelings, intellectualize them, can think about why they're feeling a certain way, which is great and all up to a point. Because what it can end up meaning, though, is that you don't ever feel your feelings. You simply rationalize them and like you end up kind of, I want to say lost, but it's not quite lost, is it? It's more like disconnected, kind of an out of body thing where one can see those emotions happening over there, and again, you have a clipboard and you're analyzing them and you're taking notes and what have you, but not letting the process naturally take place. I saw a Brené Brown conversation where she was saying that we like to think that we're thinking creatures who occasionally have emotions. Literally, we like to think that. But the reality is that we're emotional creatures who will occasionally think. And I think, I really like that take. I really like that idea that we start by having the emotional response and then we rationalize it, justify it, turn ourselves inside out, trying to understand why and how and what have you. And yeah, I thought that was kind of profound, especially given the studies that have shown that we will react to things like the neurons fire in our brains to react to something well before the neurons fire in our brains to give the instruction to take that action. If that makes any sense, like we are oftentimes taking actions, and picoseconds afterwards, hashtag choosing to take those actions, when the reality is that we didn't choose that at all. We simply did it. So I should have 5 of these little people, these little treasure bacon cats. There's the black one. The black one I think is my favorite because he's got both hands up, like shake it like you just don't care. So they're great, these little guys. Then I've got a bunch of He-Man weapons, modern and vintage. A little bit of Lego here. So I started doing another Lego board, and for a lot of different reasons, I had to start packing my stuff up again. And so the Lego got packed away again. But a couple of guys that kind of kept near the surface this is obviously Roadrunner, from the Looney Tunes set that came out, I want to say, the end of last year. So he's super cute. And that's his bowl of seed. We've got another Lego piece, which is Snowball 2, from The Simpsons. I wanted to put the Simpsons characters up on the board, and the kids have pulled them all apart. I'm trying to find, like, I've got Selma's head, but I don't have her body, and it's a mess. And what other Lego I've got here? Finally, yeah, this guy. It's one of my favorite Lego pieces. It's got this, like that's the legs, right? Squid. And then you can see there's the head and the body. It's far more traditional Lego shaped, and then he's got this full-on headpiece that's just out of this world. Yeah, I think I had to buy a book to get this guy. Anyway, ridiculous. OTT. God, I love molded plastic. I don't know why. Something to do with failing as a... Something to do with my childhood, no doubt. I've got one piece of Playmobil. This guy's got like a ball and chain, like an actual metal chain attached to his feet. He's a ghost. and he has a ghost overlay, like he has a piece that goes over the top that glows in the dark, which isn't here, but it'll be in a box somewhere, no doubt. He-Man, modern He-Man, vintage He-Man. That's a Transformers wing off the Lamborghini Countach. Is he a medic or a mechanic? He's a mechanic, right? Fuck, I have no idea what his name is. Never mind. That's the shooter for this. Spang. Man, that spring is really not very powerful. Especially when it doesn't even want to shoot. There we go. Wow, that's... I guess I don't want to take kids to take their eyes out, but still, that's pretty lame. And then finally, these two bad boys are Kubricks. So this is a Japanese figure, little under 3 inches tall, 2.5 inches, I guess. Semi-posable, and they've released thousands of these of various characters, licensed and otherwise. And my favorite ones are the bears, but this is just a random jack-o'-lantern pumpkin guy. I don't know if he's from something. He might be from Nightmare Before Christmas. It makes sense that he'd be from Nightmare Before Christmas because I have other Nightmare Before Christmas stuff. And then the Fantasia broom. And much like this guy, I guess, I really like toys that are from a series that's really rigid about how it presents itself, then subsequently not presenting themselves that way. Hey, it's Null. Oh, and the bot worked as well. Hey, Null. How you doing? Yeah, I really like toys that are really strict about their appearances, like Lego minifigures, right? They have the round head, they have the arms and legs and what have you. And then when they subvert that recipe and you end up with something like this guy, which is just like full-on weird squid person, and ditto with the broom, where the arms and hands are exactly the same as other Kubricks, like they're supposed to be, but the body is clearly very, very, very different, one of a kind. Yeah, for some reason that really appeals to me. Thank you, mate. It's good to see you too, in text, if not in person. I'm trying something new. I'm trying to get myself back into the world. I've been in hibernation for a long time. And I'm realizing that needs to stop. I'm realizing that I need to be part of things again. As difficult as that is to say and to feel, I recognize that if I don't, the long-term results will be... I'll talk about this in a second once I finish this thought. The long-term results for inaction vastly outweigh continued senescence. I don't even know if that's the right word that I want, but I got to do something. I don't know what I've got to do, but not doing it feels worse. That's kind of been my mantra recently. So last one of these before I pack this up. This is obviously it's Big Bird. Anyone who thinks it's otherwise is a fool and a charlatan. And I'm confident that anyone from my era recognizes that peg shape. It's a Fisher-Price. It's a Fisher-Price person. There was a couple of Sesame Street sets. I think there was a bus set as well as the play set. And I've got a couple of these. I've got Ernie. I've got Mr. Hooper. Boom. And I think I've got a Cookie Monster as well. But the Big Bird, I don't know. Big Bird, I've got a soft spot in my heart for Big Bird. And this poor guy, I think those eyes have been redrawn on at some point. He looks a little bit hazy, crazy. His beak's definitely got a little bit worse for wear. But they're made of beautiful plastic. They're really tactile. Like, listen to that. Listen. Can you hear that? That's just my ring banging against. Oh, it's just so good. Is that Alfie? That dog, I tell ya. Like, I always knew Cristobal had a heart of gold, but geez, that dog is definitely testing him. Deaf dogs, man. How did they do it? How do they do it? I feel like these little guys might need to stay out, but then if I stay out, then I need to find somewhere to put them. And like I've only set this desk up a few weeks back, and it's already like cluttered and jammed with shit. So I don't know what to do about that. Right. So I said I would do an hour, and it has been some number of minutes. Come on, please tell me what the timer is. Do I have to unlock my phone? Do I do that? Okay, it's only 5 minutes to go. So I'm sure I can conversate for 5 more minutes. I'm finding out that I need to have something to do with my hands nearly all the time at the moment. So there's some kind of nervous energy that just needs to kind of be worked out. What happened to the channel points? Good question. I'm confident that you still have them. However, I cancelled our affiliate agreement. So I felt increasingly bad about people who very generously wanted to show their support for me and my family and lab and what we were doing and all that kind of stuff. So I felt increasingly bad about these wonderful people, these generous souls, giving so much money to Amazon. And it just, I just couldn't come back to streaming and still be giving so much to Amazon. Like, I understand that Twitch are providing a lot of back end for me to be able to do this, but they're not the only ones doing it, and they're certainly not the most competitive ones doing it. So I wondered how I could stream in good conscience, and the next best thing I could do, the next good step forward I could take, was to cancel our affiliate agreement, which means no subs, no channel points, no bits, donations, no avenue by excuse me, no avenue by which people might feel obligated to support me or indirectly continue to support the nonsense that Amazon support, while thinking or believing that they were supporting me. So yeah, I quit that nonsense. So yeah, there's no emotes, there's no Chris emote, and what I'm hoping to do is, I have a new bot. I have a much better, cleverer bot, and what I'm hoping to do is, how do I say it? Come on, brain, you can do it. What I'm hoping is to put back a bunch of that functionality that everyone enjoyed, without necessarily needing to go through the usual go through the systems that Twitch provided. I hope I'm kind of making some kind of sense. So like, we had a bit of a chat. So I streamed on Wednesday as well. We had a bit of a chat then about some of the things that people are missing. And so if it's emotes, I think I can do something about that. I'd like to bring back the flag animations. I've been working on trying to make better ones in Blender. I've been really enjoying learning some 3D animation, some 3D modeling skills in Blender. That's been kind of nice. So yeah, I want to find a way, and I think that, like, I think the previous model of letting Twitch manage that financial support structure meant that I wasn't doing enough to. I mean, I want to say to earn it. Basically, I wasn't doing enough to I guess inside myself to deserve that support. I didn't feel like I was adding enough value to anybody's life. So now that I'm doing the newsletter, I think the newsletter has value, and I'm going to continue doing that. And I would like these streams to turn into something that I can, I guess, utilize to get some of my own thoughts a little bit unwound and try to find a way forward that allows me to do something positive and uplifting for others, something that helps create some value for people. I saw a stream where the host was putting a whole user-controlled environment using the Unreal Engine if you want to get super geeky. Holy shit. That sounds amazing. Null, yeah, link me to that. That sounds incredible. The handsomest Chad who made Bad Vlad admit he was a mad lad from Stalingrad. Father James, the Lord. GFA, you have certainly an amazing turn of phrase. I and and your bot greeting is fantastic too, if I may say so myself. So I'm super pleased that I got that working. Unreal Engine. I'm very curious as to how that would work. Because like a simple solution in my head is something like if someone wanted to emote, they could type a command in the chat that wouldn't appear in the chat. Like the bot would hide it automatically, but it would cause the emote to appear on screen. I feel like that's relatively trivial to achieve. There was, I think it's Streamlabs, have a plugin that allows any emotes that appear in chat to then show up. I want to point at the screen, but that doesn't help at all. If I do this instead, they appear on the screen and then they like float up and slowly become transparent, which is kind of neat. I'm your god dad. I need a god dad. That's it. And a goddamn. Can I get a goddamn? A mad lad from Stalingrad. God. I read about... Oh, God, I don't want to talk about the war. But I saw a story about a woman who protected... who she helped defend Stalingrad before it was... Like, when it was still St. Petersburg. I think that's right. Or is that Leningrad? Anyway, she got arrested for protesting the war. Just the world's a crazy topsy-turvy place. I don't know how to reconcile it. I don't know how to reconcile any of it. So, right. So for the next stream, I want to get the green screen happening. I'll write that on my list so that I feel better about myself. Why do I want a green screen? I think it just helps reduce the amount of clutter on the screen. And I want to have a nice clean... what did you keep saying last time? That is bullshit. Yeah. Scheiße. Green screen, professionalism. That's right. That's what you kept saying to me on Wednesday, right? Professionalism. So want to reduce the clutter on the screen. And no, I'm really curious about the Unreal Engine thing, because one of the other ideas I had was that rather than emote pyramids or things like that in the chat, that people could make a plant or vines grow around like the edge of the stream or around the edge of my camera border or something like that. And Like, given that there's ways to make those shitty donation cup things fill up with coins, there must be some way to have like a progressive animation be generated based on user input in the chat. Professionalizationalisticism. Poor role model. Okay, sick. Poor role model. Sounds like the opposite of that completely. I will go and check out their streams. That sounds fantastic. What can I suggest? I don't know what I can suggest. I'm trying to think of other ways I can boost some people. If you are on TikTok and you are not following Portia Noir, PORTIA_noir. She's an amazing creator and puts in a lot of emotional labor to try and, I want to say help educate, but it's more about providing the opportunity for people to do the work themselves, I guess, to figure out how they've benefited from being white and what they can do nowadays to try and do something about that. I guess it's a kind of heavily lensed version of the work that she does. Anyway, she's great. Really good value. Watching her tear people apart's pretty fun, to be honest. Poor old. Null, have you seen any of Sushi Dragon's stuff? Sushi Dragon, really different direction to the direction I kind of want to go in. He's very physical. He has this big warehouse, and his stream is controlled by loads of like things that he has attached to his body, and like hand motions, and phenomenal. Sushi Dragon is Sushi Dragon. TikTok, I just joined Instagram. You just joined, everyone's left Instagram, man. Dude, come on. Yeah, I think anytime we can get Facebook out of our lives, it's a good step. I'm a little bit worried about what is going to happen with Twitter, given that our supreme overlord and Martian hero is going to take that over. There's a non-zero chance that Muskie does something really interesting with Twitter by taking it private, and obviously there's a fear and a very realistic path that he could just take the general capitalist route of flooding it with ads, trying to get his $55 billion back, and what have you. But I think there is a non-zero chance that he'll take it in a completely different direction. And I think it might be okay. I don't know. I have no skin in the game, I guess, but I listened to a podcast called Akimbo by a guy called Seth Godin. And Seth is definitely like a middle-aged white man with a lot of privilege, but he's got a lot of insight in marketing. He's been in the marketing game for decades and decades. I think it's at the Sushi Dragon. Yeah, I think so. It might just be Sushi Dragon, but probably figure it out pretty quickly. I haven't looked at his stuff for, I don't know, 6 months or a year or something. But when I was watching it, it was very long streams of him doing lots of cool green screen effects, and I always found the first kind of 30 or 40 minutes of his stream the most entertaining, when he was struggling to get the setup working and whatever he'd added since the previous stream, trying to get it working. Anyway, if it's not at the Sushi Dragon, I will find it for you and whisper it to you. Seth talks about Twitter, and how when Twitter started, obviously it wasn't making any money. It had no revenue model whatsoever. It was just trying to be a place where people could send messages easily. And he pointed out something like 80 or 90% of Twitter users never tweet. And I don't know what the stats are nowadays. This was a decade ago. But he was suggesting that the way in which Twitter could have generated a revenue model is effectively like a user pays model, where those people, the 10, 15% of people who do generate the vast majority of Twitter's content, they ought to be paying for it. And it's kind of a bit of a weird backwards thing where if Dog Rates is pretty excellent, I give it 15 out of 10, the very rare 15 out of 10. Like, let's say you sign up for Twitter and it lets you tweet 5 times a week for free. But if you want to tweet once a day, it costs you $5 a month. Something super trivial like that, right? But if you have 100 million users and 15 million of them are paying you $5 a month, then, you know, that's $75 million a month in revenue. And I thought it was an interesting take because it meant that there'd be no ads, right? It meant that there would be no promoted posts or anything like that. It would give the platform, operating capital without needing to go down the standard capitalist route, the solution that everyone seems to land on, which is advertising. People want to buy things. People have money to spend. We want them to spend their money on our things. How do we get their attention? We advertise to them. And it's just such a boring, circular, limited view of the world. Like this, they've got to be more interesting models for creating support structures for creators, creating value and recognizing the value that people create, and giving people an opportunity to put that product. Product's not even the right word. Like, if someone's making art, it's not a product, is it? Or is it? Like, there are definitely commercial artists who produce pretty soulless stuff just for the sake of selling it, but that's not the be all and end all of creation. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that. That's been something I've been musing on for a while, is this idea that there's got to be a better way to reward creation. There's got to be a better way to connect audiences with messages effectively. And I don't have any of the answers. I would like to. I think that solving that problem would be pretty monumental to humanity's future goodness, capacity for goodness. I don't know. It's all a bit of a mess. It's 12:30. I have streamed for more than an hour. I have completed what I feel internally to be enough, a piece of creativeness. It's been good. I feel like this was harder than the Wednesday stream, which is ironic because it was incredibly hard to start the Wednesday stream. It was much easier to start this stream. But yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I will digest and I will have a think about it, and we'll go on from there. I will be doing this again, probably Monday, probably at about 11 o'clock. That's the most likely time for me to show up again. There's a slim chance of doing a Saturday evening play stream, but we'll see how that goes. I would put that as a sub 20% type dealio. But I would put 11-ish Monday at like a 80 plus percent. Discord, I don't know what it is about logging into Discord fills me with anxiety at the moment. Um, I don't know what it is because it's only ever lovely messages from people. There's some internal micro hurdle about. It's probably tied back into that thing I've touched on a few times in this stream deserving, about deserving. Am I taking any meds for anxiety? I'm not actually. I'm not taking any meds for anxiety. Um, I haven't spoken to a professional about how I feel for probably 8 or 9 months. Um, yeah, I I guess, how would I put it? It's not as bad as it's been. Um, Escitalopram. That sounds like lollies. It doesn't sound like lollies at all. Escitalopram. That sounds phenomenal. What a great word. Escitalopram. And it makes a difference for you? Lolly for the brain. Yeah, absolutely. And for sure, if we can simply, take some prescribed or otherwise substances that help us rebalance our brain chemistry, like we are literally just a meat sack wallowing in various chemicals. I take a whole bunch of pills. Do you know what they are? Did you get them from a doctor? No. I worry about you sometimes. Take these and two of these. Thank you, doctor. Oh, I'm not a doctor. Yeah, I know I'm in my mid 40s. I need a GP. I haven't been to the GP in way too long. And it'd be good to have someone that, knows my history and what have you, but that's a whole nother kettle of fish. That's a whole level of self-care that I'm not ready for just yet. So for the moment, I will continue filling my bucket at your font, and thank you profusely for allowing the sweet nectar of your presence to enrich my heart. So on that, I found them down the back of the couch in a nightclub. Ugh, nightclub couches. God, another place I'm glad I haven't been in decades. Nightclubs. All right, if I don't go, I won't go. So I'm gonna go. Love you all very much. Thanks for hanging out again. Much appreciated. Like I said, probably not tomorrow night. Slim chance. Try and roll some natural 20s and I might see you there. Otherwise, Monday. And yeah, apparently Twitch is keeping the VODs, so you can always check back and watch those as well. Thanks, Null. Good to see you again. You will, absolutely. By hook or by crook. Thanks, Al. Take care. How do I stop this? I'm such an old man.